My name is Melissa Newton. This is my diversity book review for the class CE 506 Literature for Early Childhood Education at the University of West Alabama. The first book that I reviewed is The Snowy Day. This was written and illustrated by Ezra Jack Keats. From the title, I didn't remember this story, but as soon as I saw the silhouette of Peter on the title page, I instantly remember this being one of the books that I read as a child, and I loved it. The Snowy Day Summary. This book is about a boy named Peter and his adventures in the snow. He walked through the snow looking at his footprints. He saw some boys having a snow fight, but he was too little to join. Instead, some of his snowy day activities were making a snowman, snow angels, climbing a mountain of snow, and sliding down. At the end of the story, he put a handful of snow in his jacket pocket for tomorrow. He went back to his house and told his mom all the adventures he had that day in the snow. While he was getting ready for bed, he remembered all the adventures he had. He looked back in his pocket for the snowball and it was gone. He went to sleep and dreamed that the snow was melted by the sun and that it was all gone. He woke up and the snow was still on the ground and even more snow was falling from the sky. Then Peter and his friend went out into the snow together. The Snowy Day activity, I found several activities that you can do with the Snowy Day online. It was really hard to pick from one, but this is one of my favorite ones. So after you read the book to the students, have them decide what Snowy Day track that they want to make. They will make snow using shaving cream and liquid glue, white liquid glue, and you want to mix those together equally. First, they're going to fill the construction paper with their snow. Next, they're going to make the track either using their fingers, pencil, or toothpick. In the story, it talked about his footprint track, when he slid his feet track. He can even do a snow angel. Then they're going to add the Peter template to show where he is on his track. So you can use this template to add him in to the story. And then last, students will write about the snowy day that they have had. You can also incorporate sequence with this activity. Talk about what Jack did first, second, next, last. I got this activity from Pinterest from the primary theme park. I think this book is a really good book to use for pre-K, kindergarten, or first grade. I think that they will enjoy the hands-on activity. I think from this book that they can just learn to enjoy snowy days and they can learn to see the world through Peter's perspective. And I really enjoyed reading this book. The second book that I reviewed is called Peanut Butter Fudge. This is by Toni Morrison and Slade Morrison, and it's illustrated by Joe Cepeda. I've never heard of this story before, but I enjoyed reading it and I also enjoyed the illustrations. Peanut Butter Fudge Summary. In the beginning of the story, the mom is leaving and the kids are reading their schedule that their mom left them. Their nanny is keeping them until their mom returns at bedtime. The story shares of all the activities they did. They take a nap, then they read books, and they have sack races. Then Nanny feeds them lunch. After lunch, they play doctor, and the kids try to make her feel better. Nanny and the kids start to dance and then put together a puzzle. Lastly, they make peanut butter fudge. They talk about the recipe and how it's a family recipe to share with family members. Mom comes home and sees the mess and smells the peanut butter fudge. It reminds her when she was little and when she made the fudge. They all have a group hug and say peanut butter fudge. Peanut butter fudge activity. The first activity would be for the students to make peanut butter fudge. The teacher would ask the students to follow the recipe and tell each step. The teacher will also allow students to help mix ingredients. This can also be done in groups. The teacher could ask for parent volunteers to come in that day to help. And I found a 5-minute peanut butter fudge that a teacher could easily do in the classroom. It requires no baking. And then you can also try the recipe that's actually in the story. In the back of the book, they include the real peanut butter fudge recipe. Next, after they make the recipe, the teacher can talk about traditions and what traditions are. The class can have a talk about traditions that took place in the story. Then the teacher will have some of their traditions that they can share and have some of the students share theirs aloud. Last, the students will complete the My Family Tradition worksheet. This will be where students can talk about what foods their family traditionally eat, what clothing their family wears, what they do for the holidays, and then any special event or anything they do for entertainment can go here, and they can talk about what they do in their family. And I got this on Teachers Pay Teachers. I think this book would be really good for pre-kindergarten, kindergarten and first grade too. It has rhyming in it. And the students will enjoy making the peanut butter fudge, and they can learn about, how you do things in order, and, what makes their family so special with sharing their traditions with others, and they can learn about other students' traditions from the story as well. A lesson that they learn from this story could be, what families do with each other and spending that quality time together and passing on traditions from family member to family member to family member. The last book that I reviewed is called My Three Best Friends and Me, Zule. This this is by Carrie Best, and it's illustrated by Vanessa Brantley Newton. I've never heard of this story before, but I enjoyed reading it and learning about it. My Three Best Friends and Me, Zule summary. The story starts by looking at a classroom and you see names on the desk. The names are not only written in letters, but they're also written in Braille. These four girls are best friends, Maya, Nancy, Zule, and Chang. The girls are in the hallway and they're quite loud, and the teacher tells them to stop, and Zule smells the teacher's new perfume. The kids line up and enter their classroom. Zule explains everything she does at the beginning of class, including how she can feel her desk and her chair. She then talks about what's inside of her desk. In her desk, there's typical school stuff except for a folded up cane that she'll use later. The teacher then tells the students what they are going to be doing today. During her explanations, she says that Zule will work with Miss Turner. Zule doesn't like that she is called out, but she keeps her feelings to herself because she doesn't want to stick out even more. Zule first works with math with Maya. Zule then works on writing. She types on a brailler. Ching uses the brailler. Zule explains to her that the bumps are how she reads. She sees with her fingers. Zule notices that Mrs. Turner is there by smelling her juicy fruit gum. Miss Turner and Zule go into the hallway and practice using their walking cane. Zule doesn't like using it. The teacher announces that they are going to have a field day at school. The kids are telling their ideas for which event they want to do. Zule wants to run the race in her new pink shoes. The class is silent except for Mrs. Turner. She says, "You go, girl. Let's work with your cane on the track." Miss Turner and Zule go to the track and practice. Days later, her and Miss Turner are practicing, but they are getting tangled up. The day finally comes for field day. Zule hears the crowd. Miss Turner and Zule are ready to run. Zule knows the track she is running. She hears her friends cheering for her, and she finishes the race. So in this story, it doesn't come out and tell that Zule is blind. It does talk about, what she can hear and smell and feel. And then it talks about how she, what works through her schoolwork and her activities, and how she is kind of doing it slower, and how she has tools to help her. And then also talks about how she has a special teacher to help her, and how she kind of gets called out and looked at a little bit differently. My Three Best Friends and Me, Zule activity. So first, the students will study the Braille alphabet. In the story, it does include the Braille alphabet on the back of the book. The teacher will explain what that Braille is: raised bumps that people who are blind, they can feel and they're able to read it. The students will make their names from the symbols in the Braille alphabet using marshmallows. If you're able to take the students around to the school, there are some signs that are written in Braille. So what they're going to do is they're going to write their name in print like here. Then they're going to use marshmallows and do the Braille alphabet with their names above it. I think that this activity will be good for an upper grade, not more kindergarten age. This is a longer story. So I think this activity would be good for first or second grade. I think that they'll learn the lesson that, you know, there are special kids in their class and they have this special help and they have these special tools to help them. And I think they'll get a sense of how these people are able to work and how they need to have all this stuff to help them get through the day normally. I think it'll give them an appreciation of what they have. And I think it also shines the light on people who suffer from being blind and how they read the alphabet with using Braille. I really enjoyed this assignment. These three books are on my to purchase list, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation of these books.